The data has been staring us in the face. More than 65% of people already know who they're going to hire before they ever search for an agent. That number comes from NAR research, and it hasn't moved in decades, which means the entire industry has been arguing about lead gen tactics, ad spend, and cold calling scripts, while the research has been quietly sitting there telling us the same thing over and over. My name is Wes. I've been selling homes for almost 25 years. I've tried nearly everything this industry has to offer. Door knocking, cold calling, paid leads, social media, direct mail, all of it. And today I'm going to show you, using research, behavioral science, and data, why relationship-based business isn't the soft option, it is the strategy. And more importantly, I'm going to show you the specific reasons why most agents resist it, and why fixing that changes everything. Point 1, the data doesn't lie, so stop arguing with it. Let's start with the foundation. NAR's data, repeated year after year, tells us that more than 65% of buyers and sellers choose an agent they already know or someone referred to them by a person that they trust. Not the agent with the best Zillow reviews, not the one who spent the most on Facebook ads, the one they knew. Now, here's what I want you to sit with for a second. That number means the majority of business in this industry is going to someone, and the only question is whether it's going to you. Every year you spend avoiding relationship-based business is a year that you're voluntarily stepping out of the competition for the majority of the market. That's not an opinion, that's arithmetic. Point 2, the real reason agents avoid it. Now, a lot of agents say that they don't want to do relationship-based business because they don't want to harass their sphere. I want to challenge that. First, why are you harassing anybody? Because here's what I've noticed after nearly 25 years of watching agents work. The ones who say they don't want to bother people are often the same ones who have no problem cold calling complete strangers at dinner time. So it's not really about bothering people. Let me offer you an alternative explanation. When you reach out to a stranger and you blow it, they never have to see you again. The stakes are low, and you can tell yourself the market was bad or the lead wasn't qualified or the timing was wrong. But when you work with a friend, a family member, someone who trusts you, and you blow it, that stings in a completely different way. So the real resistance isn't about protecting them from being bothered. It's about protecting yourself from being exposed. Jim Rohn used to say the challenge of leadership is to be strong, but not rude, kind, but not weak, bold, but not a bully. In sales, I'd adapt that this way. Be willing to offer your help, even when you're afraid of being judged for it. Because the alternative is this. You are so concerned about your own comfort that the people closest to you are hiring somebody else. Someone who may not serve them nearly as well as you would. That's not being considerate. That's being selfish. And the fix isn't a script or some odd system. The fix is this. Get so good at your job that you have no doubt you can deliver for them. Point 3, behavioral science and why familiarity wins. Let's talk about why relationship-based business works, not from a feel-good perspective, but from a brain science perspective. There's a cognitive phenomenon called the mere exposure effect. Psychologist Robert Zajonc documented it. The more we're exposed to something, a face, a name, an idea, the more we tend to like and trust it. This isn't a feeling. This is a measurable, reproducible psychological response. What does this mean for you as an agent? It means that the person who stays consistently in front of their network, not aggressively, not intrusively, but predictably, builds a psychological advantage that no paid lead source can buy. The familiar feels safe. The unknown feels risky. And when someone is about to make the largest financial transaction in their life, do you think they're leaning towards unknown or safe? Think about how you make decisions. When you're about to try a new restaurant, do you pick the one that you drove past 100 times or the one you've never heard of? That's not only logic, that's neuroscience. There's also a concept from behavioral economics called the principle of least effort, or in decision-making context, the path of least friction. People, when under stress and high stakes, they default to the option that requires the fewest mental steps to evaluate. I heard a recent interview with Leo Pereira, CEO of one of the largest brokerages in the world, who said, in today's market, the agent who reduces the friction for their clients the most will win. If your name is already in their head, if they've seen your post, gotten your card, heard about you from a friend, the friction is lower. If you're a cold stranger, the friction is higher. You are either building that presence or somebody else is. There's no middle option. Point 4. This is not manipulation. It's earning position. Here's where I want to draw a very clear line. Everything I'm describing, staying visible, staying in front of people, being consistently present, is not a manipulation tactic. It's not a trick to make people like you. It only works if the underlying substance is real. The only reason a relationship-based business is worth building is if you're actually worth being referred. So before any of this matters, before the sphere strategy, before the touches, before the follow-up systems, you need to ask yourself one honest question. If your best friend hired you to sell their home and something went wrong, would you know what to do? Would you be confident enough to navigate it without panic? Because if the answer is no, the problem isn't your marketing. The problem is your competency. And that, by the way, the good news is fixable. The agents who thrive long-term are students of their craft. They study contracts. They understand negotiation. They know how to read a market. They communicate proactively so clients are never in the dark. When your skills are unquestionable, when you know in your bones that you can perform, the whole psychology of reaching out to your sphere changes. It's not, I hope they don't think I'm bothering them. It's, I genuinely want to help them and I know I can. That shift in identity changes everything. Point 5, what staying in touch actually means. All right, so let's get real. When I say stay in front of your sphere, I don't mean send a mass email every month or so and call it done. I mean, actually give a crap about people's lives. Think about it this way. You have people in your life you haven't talked to in 2 years. Now, if they called you tomorrow and said, hey, we're selling our house, would you want to know that? Of course you would. The question is, how did it happen that 2 years went by without a single meaningful touch point? The answer is usually you got busy. You assume they knew you assume they knew that you were an agent, or you didn't have a system. None of those are good answers. What relationship-based business looks like is this. It's a birthday message that's personal, not a generic Facebook-generated post. It's a text when something happens in the market that you know affects their neighborhood. It's a comment on their kid's soccer photo. It's coffee twice a year with someone who has sent you 3 referrals. None of that is harassment. None of that is weird. It's what decent human beings do for each other. And the byproduct, the side effect, is that when anyone in their life mentions real estate, your name is the first one out of their mouth. That's not magic. That's predictable output of consistent, genuine attention. Jim Rohn said it best, happiness is not something that you postpone for the future. It is something you design for the present. The same is true for your business. You don't build a referral-based business someday. You build it in the daily decisions you make right now. Who you call, what you say, whether you show up at all. And look, if you want to experiment with the latest lead gen strategy because the webinar you attended made it look really cool, go ahead. I test new approaches all the time. Just first make sure that you have your relationship system in place so that it can feed you while you figure out if the new shiny thing is going to work out. So let me bring this back to where we started. 65% of people already know who they're going to hire before they ever start searching or planning their move. The data has been telling us this for decades. The agents who are winning, who are building businesses that actually last, that produce income year after year without panic, they're not winning because of some new lead gen platform. They're winning because people in their lives already decided, when the time comes, I'm calling them. You can be that agent, but it requires 2 things. First, be worth referring. Obsess over your craft. Know your market. Create an amazing transaction experience. Deliver at a level that makes people feel stupid to send somebody else. Second, stay top of mind. Not obnoxiously, just consistently. Be a real presence in the lives of the people who trust you. Do those 2 things and the business you want isn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when. If this landed for you, if something in here shifted the way you're thinking about your business, subscribe, because this is what I do here. Real frameworks, backed by data, built for agents who want to actually build something worth having.